all the way from London, England, please welcome MVP Michael Venom Page! Oh, big knee from MVP!
And you get a guy like Page, who's obviously a gifted athlete, who's been doing it his whole life. Michael Page hit Cyborg Santos with a knee so hard that he fractured his skull.
I want to welcome to the Shortland Studios. He's coming in at 170 pounds, 6'3". He has 21 professional MMA wins, with 13 coming by knockout. I want to welcome Michael Venom Page. The baddest man on the planet once said, "Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face." And I've got someone really qualified to tell us if that's true or not. I want to welcome to the Shortland Studios. He's coming in at 170 pounds, 6'3". He has 21 professional MMA wins, with 13 coming by knockout. I want to welcome Michael Venom Page.
I feel it.
Hey, listen.
How you doing, bro?
I'm coming for Michael Buffer's job, mate.
You're there.
If you're watching,
How's it going?
I'm good, bro. What are you telling me, bro?
I'm there, man.
Yeah,
I'm
bro,
there.
you're always colourful. Like,
You
as I was,
know, gotta be bright. Sun's finally coming out, somewhat,
Come
kind
on.
of ish.
Yes.
Every night, you never know it's gonna just rain. I might walk back out and it's raining.
trust me, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping for a nice, compact summer that we get some nice sunlight.
Yeah,
but
hopefully.
obviously, we met in the O2 Arena. I saw you in that nice, colourful jacket. I couldn't miss you. Never mind how tall you are. But one thing I have to say is, I think we were saying it on the way up. You have no ego.
Yeah, there's for me, if I attribute that to just martial arts. I was raised as a martial artist. It's the first thing I did. Being young, 3 years old, being in a martial arts gym of Lao Kung Fu, where you bow to everybody, you show respect. You have to bow, but to enter the class, you have to bow before you leave the class. You said you've done some martial arts yourself.
Yes.
You understand the kind of discipline that it takes,
respect,
the respect levels, and I've just kind of carried that with me everywhere. And I feel everyone's human, man. I don't care who you are. I don't care how established you are.
Well, being on this point, like, people need to know, like, well, the audience already know, but you hang around with like 50 Cent, Mayweather, all of these guys. Like, what's it actually like? Like, because these guys have got massive brands, and like, I'm sitting with you, and not in a bad way, you seem pretty normal in terms of you're just humble, you're respectful, but I know exactly what you've accomplished, and I have so much respect for you. What's it like when you're in a room with them guys?
For me, it's the same thing. I don't like to, I'll just present myself. Like you can get on with some people regardless of their status. You can get on with some people and you might not get on with some people.
Yes.
So I just present myself, and I usually find that I get on with people because I'm being myself. Like, I have massive respect for, the likes of 50 Cent because I grew up on him, you know what I mean? His music, so on and so forth. But when we met and we speaking, I'm just talking to him as himself.
Yeah.
And he's talking to me and that's why we clicked. That's why we get on. That's why I can talk to him now. Because it wasn't like, oh my God, 50 Cent. As much, I always like to put the person and the talent separate. You know what I mean? I can go back home and then just be like bumping his music, you know what I mean? But when I meet him, I'm just talking to him as a person. I see him like he's like Uncle 50, you know what I mean?
Yes,
so
yes.
I think it's important to be able to separate the two.
100, man. So tell us a little bit about your journey, because a lot of my audience don't know how you were raised and what it was like growing up. Was you always like around money, and did you grow up rich and you had a silver spoon in your mouth and things were easy?
I wish. Nah, definitely not. So grew up in like Lisson Green area, so around Edgware Road. Wasn't the best of areas. But always had martial arts, that kind of, I think that I always say martial arts was my anchor, because I was never around the best of people, but I never got into what they were getting into. Yeah. Simply because I was like, man, I feel like having a separate peer group, being the martial arts guys, kept me like not wanting to go and run off with the other peer group that I'm forming as I was growing. Because as they're doing certain things, I'm like, boy, these guys are going to kick my ass, man. And they can legally do it. So I was like, you know what? Every time we got to the point where I'm about to go do something with them, I was like, you man, I'm going back home.
Okay.
I blame the martial arts, also blame my mum. My mum, she's not one to play with. She used to do martial arts herself.
Okay.
So if you come to, go to mum's house, it's all the trophies in there. It's not all mine.
Wow.
Should I say? Because she used to compete and stuff as well. So surrounded by martial arts, I got siblings that all did martial arts. All of us are just, that is our heart. That's our love.
Right.
Not all of us have continued to do it, but we all stay in shape and so on and so forth. And we all have that kind of a discipline that we took from it and the attributes that we took from, being in and around martial arts. So that's kind of it.
It's amazing you say that because in my family we grew up in the corner shop, and so I'm a business-minded boy. I know a little bit about property and how to my way around a pound note, and it was just like something we always did. We want to see dad, we have to go to the shop, spend some time. Dad's doing door-to-door selling. I'm with mum protecting her at the shop because someone might come and rob something. And when we sat on the dinner, it was like, how was business? And it felt like that was your sort of thing in common.
Literally.
Some people think, that's boring. You're talking about business, or maybe people might look at you and go, is that what you spoke about? Just fighting or martial arts? Like, can you talk about something outside of the gym, for example? But in the inside, did it feel different for you?
Yeah, it's just, what it is? It's just common ground. Like when you're, as much as we might not necessarily be talking it in the conventional sense of how was your lesson today? Yeah. Just everything about what we was doing was martial arts. So I'll be with my dad. All the siblings are there. We're all play fighting. Obviously not really fighting. Go to training. We're getting our stuff ready to go to training. Go train. Come back. We're all pumped because of training. But then we was massively at the time. We was watching like all the kung fu movies back then.
Yes.
So you had your Bruce Lees, you had your Jackie Chans, your Jet Lees, your Sammo Hung, you have your Donnie Yen, all of these guys that were growing up on just watching DVDs of them doing more martial arts. So I'm not necessarily talking about martial arts now, but I'm watching people do backflip kicks and this and that.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying? And then, you're going to bed, getting ready to go training again for the next day after you've gone to school or whatever. So it was just surrounded by it. And there was just because, as you say, I think the head of the household being your dad, that's his heart. It just naturally spreads to everybody else.
Yes.
And that seems to be, that because that's his first love, not in order to gain his attention, but that is where his attention spikes.
Yeah.
So if you're talking that language, he's engaged.
Yes.
And so you as a kid, you learn how to engage people just from your surroundings and how you've been raised. And martial arts was that. Yeah.
Well, you're currently ranked at number 2 Bellator weight. Yeah.
It'll be number 1 in a second because my last fight, they haven't updated it, but yeah.
Come on, get in. We've got the number 1 in the world right now. Come on, baby. But what I want to say is that through hard work? Or is that a gift or combination of both? Do you think somebody can make it without being gifted?
So it's weird. So I feel like now people see me as gifted and it feels like, I am different to a lot of the people. You see people coming through the gym and people that have sparred me and stuff. And they're like, man, they've never seen anything like it. But at the same time, it was, as much as it wasn't in my adult years, as a kid, I used to get my ass handed to me for fun. Out of like my siblings, it was my oldest brother and my sister who were the best two. My other older brother, he was better than me at the time, but he didn't care as much to do it. Like he did it, but you can kind of see that he did it just to be, in and around it. But I didn't care for it as much, and I kind of, slowly surpassed him. But for me, I was just getting beaten up by my older brother. Used to beat me up. All my I call them older brothers, Simon Lewis, Marvin Francis. They were guys that my dad took under his wing, and they would train with us from like 12 and 15 and whatever, and this grew in the sport. So these are guys that I'd be with around all the time, and even outside, the people I could call, and so they were like my older brothers. They'll come down if I needed help with something. They can come down.
Yes.
And they were all from rough areas as well, because we was in and around Harlesden, Stonebridge, and all those kind of areas where we were doing the classes. So my dad knows a lot of the kind of the negative people, but in a good way, because he used to bring all of them in and teach them.
Yes.
So all of these guys I used to look up to as well, and it's that was my influence. That was for me that was the best bit about. One of the best bits about is the second family that I created being there. So yeah, for me that's what it is.
Nice. So somebody who's dealing with failure right now, because you could have said, I'm getting beaten up and I'm just going to stop. What kept you going?
I'd have to say for me, initially, the family ties, because as much as I used to, the part that I didn't like was losing, and nobody does. Even as a kid, you understand winning and losing. And just the pain of winning and losing. Everyone, treats it differently, but you just understand it. So I used to go, we'd go 2 hours Birmingham, drive to 3 hours to Manchester, drive to Leeds. Every weekend we had a competition. Literally every weekend we had a competition. My dad was the driver. He'd go pick up everybody. We'd all meet at like Bridge Park, and if anybody struggled to get there, he'd go and get them.
Nice.
And then we'd drive hours up to this competition. I'd get there, get beaten first round, and then have to sit down and just watch everybody else win. On the way back, I got all my siblings, cling, 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 all their medals that they're talking about, all their fights that they've won and this and that. And I'm just like, yeah, great. I'm happy for you, but I got my ass kicked.
Exactly. So
but
what made you
the
keep
journey
going?
Was the enjoyment. Being around my family was still enjoyable, regardless of the result at the end. So again, I kind of had a fortunate side of being persistent, because being persistent is difficult. And persevering is very difficult, especially when you're going through the tough times. But I had a better excuse. Either way, I was gonna go to the competition anyway, just because I wanted to be. We used to have fun on the way up, just cracking jokes and like laughing, singing, That was always us. I wanted to be around it, so I wasn't not gonna go anyway. But if I'm gonna travel up there, I might as well compete regardless of my result. And I'm talking for 6-7 years. It was non-stop going up, and every now and again maybe get a third.
Wow.
So that's a lot of time to just getting beaten up.
It's weird. People just see your success.
That's what I'm saying. They always see the end result.
They just see that big mountain at top, but they didn't see all of that hard
exactly.
work beneath,
Exactly.
And it takes years and years to be an overnight success, they say.
Exactly. So for me, it's finding your why, or finding a reason that overshadows your reasons for not doing it anymore. But for me, it's something when I started teaching. I used to teach a lot in my dad's schools, and all the kids that they started and they're excited and and then a little bit down the line they want to stop. The parents are like, oh yeah, they want to stop now, and I'm like, that's irrelevant. If you go along with that, then you teach them exactly that.
Yes.
And it's a life lesson for them. Bring them in kicking and screaming. And I've had students like that, like crying. Like we teach from 4 years old all the way up. And parents used to get embarrassed, like, oh no, I don't want to bring my 4-year-old crying, because she's more kind of worried about what it looks like to other people. Don't worry about it. You bring them in, drop them, leave.
Yes.
I'll take them over from there. I used to sit down with, I had one kid, Tom, sit down with him. He would, for probably about 8 weeks, didn't do one session. But his mum brought him every single week. Didn't do one session. I cancelled our membership. Said, no, you don't pay until he actually starts, but keep bringing him.
Yeah.
Because he needs to learn.
Yes, nice.
So sat down and we'll just talk. So my other instructors were teaching the rest of the class, and we'll just talk. And every now and again I go, do you want to join the game at the end, or did it? And he's like, no. Cool, no problem. And then eventually he joined the game at the end. We always finished with a game.
Yes.
Eventually he joined the game at the end, did the game, backtrack again. Following week, he'll do a little bit before the game and just progress. Later on down the line, he was one of we used to do like a junior black belt, just more for the kids, just to give them something to accomplish. And then when that would qualify them for their first belt in the adults.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when he did his black belt grading for the juniors, people were like, he's amazing. And I was like, if you ever knew what it took to get him to that point.
Wow.
He was the best student in the class.
Wow.
But it took having to go through all of that.
Yes.
But he's learned a lesson as well. It's, yeah, because he had to go through pain. But it's like, yeah, but you know, the end result, I'm this person. And people don't realize, and parents don't realize. I think sometimes they can be the students' biggest downfall is because of their own insecurities and fears. They'll pull them out. No, forgetting the martial arts side. They have a lesson here that I can't just say yes and then get it and no and then it just everything stops, because when it comes to driving lessons and you go for a test, you can't just ask for it. You have to do the thing. If it's not working, you just stop.
Yeah.
There's so much there.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like martial arts should be in schools.
Yes.
Because it's not just the punching and kicking, and this is what a lot of people don't understand.
100. That's so powerful what you just said. Like, it's up to us as parents to take responsibility, because these children are under our guardianship.
Exactly.
And it's up and until 16, we have control of what they do and how they do it. And just because, I think would even like to say, even sometimes the media say that it's too much what you're putting your kids under, but they're your kids.
Exactly.
We were brought up with tough love, and it made us resilient. We had to fill up the fridges and stuff, even when we didn't want to, even when we had a little cough, but it made me that I could still do it,
Exactly.
even if I wasn't in the best shape. And so many people do give up. As soon as there's a bit of pain, they turn back and run. But when you go through pain, as you said, it's something beautiful on the
There's
other side.
something amazing at the other side. And like you said, as you were saying before, people only seem to spot you when you're doing the amazing stuff and forget there's a journey there. But it does mean there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
100.
But that rainbow could be broken. You have to climb like high. Like
Yes.
you're scared of height. There's a lot to overcome.
100.
But there's a positive ending.
100, man. I'm getting the messages in my DMs right now. As soon as every guest is like, why didn't you call me when you were with so-and-so? I was like, where was you 12 months ago when I had 2 subscribers? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But now you've hitting a little bit of success. They're like, hey, we're here. And it's like,
Of course.
but you find out who was real and who was next to you and who.
And you know what? For me, I don't even hold anybody. I don't hold anybody like against anybody, because sometimes people just don't see your vision.
Yeah.
And if they don't see it, and all their fears and natural fears kick in and so on. And I'm talking even today, for myself, people that care about me the most will still come up to me and go, "Oh, Michael, man, you shouldn't fight with your hands down, man." That's their fear, though. This is me, 20 plus fights deep. Yeah. Never have my hands up, beating everybody, and their fear. And it's more a case of them putting themselves in your position and what they would do. And because they care about you, this is what I would have done to protect myself, so you should do it.
Yeah.
But that's your fear passed on to me.
Yes.
But if you're actually looking at it properly, and if you actually had the lens at the time, you would see that, no, this is actually better for him. But not everybody will see it at the time.
Well, being that we're talking about your style right now, your style is very different. And I've got friends who have MMA fighters, and they have striking coach, grappling coach, a physio. And some of these coaches are very set in their ways, how they want you to be. And if you go a little bit off, they have a real problem with that.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? Because you've got such a different style. You're
I was fortunate. So my style does come from somewhere. It's like I said, it's the Lagar Kung Fu traditionally, but there's a sport called freestyle kickboxing, very similar to Taekwondo. If you was watching it, there's people scoring points and stuff. It's more the speed element of kickboxing than it is the power element of kickboxing. People are more drawn to the power element just because they want to see blood. We've got that fixated thing in us. We just want to see people just go to war. But this side is more done on the speed element side. This is why not a lot of people kind of has seen our style. But I've done that for 20 plus years before I got into mixed martial arts. And as you say, it's like I have to find the right coach, because all this time I've been spoiled in the sense that it was my dad that was my coach.
okay.
So it's like, okay, I need to find someone that I can connect with in that kind of way, and is okay with me still utilizing my style, because I would never have been able to do it any other way. It had to have been my way. And
Which is getting you to number 1 at the moment.
of course, yeah, no, definitely.
So you knew it worked, but yeah.
No, it's funny you say that. I didn't, but I'll get
Okay.
back to that.
Okay.
But so I've traveled. I'm talking. I got my family, my siblings have actually moved to the States. So I've gone over to the States, and there's gyms over there. At the time, it was a case of MMA was quite small over here. So it was like in order to be successful, you had to go to the States, in my mind.
Right.
Because I didn't know enough. I didn't really watch MMA before I even jumped into it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Fly to the States, staying at my sister's. I go to a couple of gyms over there, quite a famous gym, American Top Team. And I was like, yeah, this is the gym for me. I'm going to stay there. When I got back, older brother Marvin Francis, he was like, let's just check out a couple of gyms local, just to see, if anything, anything kind of sticks out to us. Gone to quite a few gyms, and I was like, yeah, I'm not really feeling it. I'm good with energy, so I'm like, nah, I'm not really feeling it. Gone to London Shoot Fighters gym.
Okay.
And I walked in there. I haven't even met the main coaches there. I've just seen how the classes are being run. I'm listening, like, as much as I don't know what I'm listening to, I can hear sense. Because I used to teach myself. When people, how they structure their teaching and how they're telling you and how they're I'm like, oh, these guys are good.
Right.
I didn't do any research on them. Didn't know. Flash forward to come to find out that these guys are not only that they were the first MMA gym in the UK, and they've been doing it for years. Their knowledge is ridiculous. But fast forward, my coach has actually, recognized me, not even recognized me doing MMA. This is how good he is. So not recognized me doing kickboxing, because there's different classes. He's seen me doing jiu-jitsu, and he says, excuse me, come here. So I walked over. He's like, how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu? I was like, since I've joined here, it's probably about, I think it's like 4 weeks at the time. And I was like, yeah, about 4 weeks. He's like, yeah, I can tell because you're shit. And I was like, did he just call me over to call me shit? I was so confused. He's like, but you got good instincts. That means you've done something before. That's what he said.
Wow.
So how can I be getting my ass handed to me and that he said, you just seem to understand when you're in danger. So I know that means you've done something. What have you done? I was like, kickboxing. You telling me your jiu-jitsu is going to be better than your kickboxing? I was like, so your kickboxing is going to be better than your jiu-jitsu? I said, I hope so. He said, cool, pad up. And I was like, oh shit, man. Jumped in and, had a first spar. I felt like I did terrible because I just felt pressure. And in my mind, I feel like his response was accurate to how I felt, because he was like, okay, cool, take your gloves off and go back in class. And I was like, oh, damn. And I didn't go in there telling anybody who I was. These times I'm 10 times world champion in kickboxing.
Wow.
I haven't told anybody nothing. I've just come and joined classes. Next day he goes, you want to spar again? I was like, if you want me to. He's like, all right, I'll come. Sparred again. Every day for probably about 7-8 months. Same thing. Sparring. Okay, take your stuff off, join the class. No advice, no nothing. Didn't tell me nothing. But he was putting me through something. He could see my talent.
Yes.
But he's just putting me through it to see what type of personality I am. Then it came to it, he's like, what are you doing it for? Oh, I would like to fight and da-da-da. What's your, I might make you wait 3 years before you fight. I was like, okay, if that's what you think. I don't know anything about it. He's like, I might make you wait 4 years before you fight. I was like, whatever you say is whatever, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. It was like another 3 months after that. So I think 9 months, and then I had my first fight.
Wow.
And he was just like, yeah, I want you to fight. One of the other coaches there, his brother, his personality is almost the opposite. So he can't hide his excitement. Right. So when I'm sparring, he's in the side like, oh my God, like jump, because I'm doing crazy kicks and stuff. Whereas my head coach is just sitting there like this. Okay, take your stuff off, go back. He didn't give anything away, but I could tell he was testing me.
Yeah.
But on top of that, he said to me, obviously you've been doing something that's worked for you for 20 plus years.
Right.
So why would I change that?
Yeah.
Not only that, I walked in one time, came into the gym early, and he was practicing my style. He's never seen it before me. Wow. And now he was like, come, show me that thing you do. So the reason I think he's an amazing coach is because he's always a student still.
Wow. Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes, of course.
The coaches that say, oh no, when people veer off, it's because they're not students in their mind, and it means they feel like they've done everything and seen everything, and that's impossible. So, and also they can't learn anything. Every industry constantly changing. Sometimes it goes full circle. Always, what was jiu-jitsu might have been successful back in the day. It's not anymore, but then it might be again tomorrow. But so you have to keep learning and updating with everything. He's still a student. He gets inspired every week from watching a UFC. He'll watch a UFC on the weekend. He'll watch a Bellator on the weekend. He'll watch this or on the weekend. Come back, okay, guys, we need to work on this because I've just seen these guys are doing this trick now.
That's amazing. Like, because what we're talking about is a fixed mindset and a growth mindset.
Growth mindset is important.
And so many of us like, no, that's not for me. That won't work. This and even I'm a mentor to certain people, and I try to unlock because I know it can work, and people won't listen. And the people who are sometimes even older, they go, oh, I like what you did there. How do I do that? They're the ones who end up unlocking stuff. 100%. And that's exactly what you're talking about.
Sometimes I feel with a lot of coaches, sometimes it's fear, because it's like, I'm supposed to be the coach, but I don't know that arena. So I'm scared to try to navigate you because I don't understand it, which is why he went online. He could tell me more fighters' names than I could. And I was in the sport. He was like, this guy such and such did this kick. And I'm like, how do you know that? But he just found a couple of my fights, and he usually gives suggestions of new fights. So he's talking about this guy, Raymond Daniels, and then that guy, and then this guy, and this guy. And he's like, oh yeah, I've seen this guy do that. Who's this guy? And he was fascinated with it. He's like, because it works. I know it works because I've just put you in blind and you've managed to survive.
Yeah.
So it works. So, okay, cool. I need to understand what that is. Now, that style, he's now taken it on, and he's asked me to show, John Hathaway. John Hathaway was in the UFC at the time. Show John Hathaway how to do that bounce. Oh, okay. I'm like, Jesus, this is the UFC guy, but you're asking me to show him. Okay, now show these guys. Now he's teaching everybody. We had KSI trains in our gym. He's fighting on the weekend. His last fight, he did a shot exactly the same way I throw the shots.
Wow.
It's because my influence now from my coach has now been spread to the gym. So this is part of everybody that's in there now. You know what I mean? But it takes a coach that has that kind of mindset and is first and foremost a student.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
How does that make you feel? Someone's using your shot in that ring and it works, like, because it's not about you anymore. It's putting your beliefs into other people, and you're seeing it happen. How does that make you feel?
It feels great, to be honest, because it's just, I'd love to leave something behind. And I feel like I've already done that whilst I'm still going in my own career. Seeing people absorb that style that a lot of people frown upon. And the reason I say frown upon is because it's semi-contact, they call it. That's the term. I call it point fighting. But it's semi-contact. So because it's not, again, based on the power element of kickboxing, people don't appreciate it as much. So then I'm one of 3 people, like Wonderboy Thompson in the UFC, Raymond Daniels, he was in Bellator Kickboxing Champion, was a Bellator MMA. These are, we're probably the only 3 that brought that style over and maintained our style, and people love it. You know what I mean? So seeing it spread to other people, and people have no idea what points fighting is. They've never seen a points fight in their life, but yet they can throw these moves.
Yes.
It's great to see.
Look, you're getting me excited. We're talking about all of this stuff, but I'm with, the main man right here. I want to know what it feels like. You've got a fight coming up now. Teams coming together, venue. Your face-offs are coming. How does it feel being in your shoes? The whole world's watching you, and the process up until you're at the stage, music's there, and you're ready with your elusive style, walking. Talk me through it. Talk me through that in a minute. How that feel?
It's weird because I'm very different, and a lot of people have always asked me about, how do you feel, like what's going on in your mind. Most of the time, honestly speaking, I am exactly the same as I am now. My personality doesn't change. If you was to walk, I'm gonna attribute it to the Caribbean-ness in me. Yeah. But we're very, we like to celebrate, dance, sing, crack jokes. It's just very vibrant. So if you was to walk into my hotel room, the day of the fight, you'd be like, this is confusing because are you not fighting later? Because I've got my decks going, playing music, my family's there, we're cracking jokes. Everyone it's just a vibe. It's like, it's almost like I'm already celebrating a win. But no, I prefer, for me, I'm fortunate enough to do something that I love and be paid to do it. So that's, for me, is already a gift. Why would I add stress to myself?
100.
There's no need. Everybody's motivated differently. I just like to be as relaxed as possible. Even in the cage, it's funny because sometimes you see me, cracking jokes and, what they call taunting, but a lot of the times it's just to keep me relaxed and keep my mindset of, oh, you're in control of this situation.
What are you thinking? That guy is ready to take your head off. What is going in your mind when you're there?
He's got to deal with me.
Yes.
I always say it's MVP versus MVP. I don't have opponents. It's just me versus me. If I am the best MVP on the night, I don't care who's in front of me. And that's why I always say the more relaxed I am, the slower everything feels. I can see everybody. Like, it's weird. There's thousands of people in the arena, and like I've spotted friends in my crowd up there, like walked out and gone, and they've seen me like, oh my God, like because I'm very present at the same time.
Yes.
But I can only do that when I'm enjoying every aspect of it. And you see, like, there's a clip of Mayweather as well. He's boxing. He's in the ring. He's fighting. The commentator say something. He went, yeah, I do that. I'm that kind of person, as in, like, I can hear what's going on, but you have to be a certain comfort to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I can hear when their coach is saying something. And it's funny. I had one guy. He was cool, to be fair. His coach was giving me a bit weird energy beforehand, and I'm a petty guy when it comes to combat. And he's giving me a bit weird energy. So one of the fights, I was fighting this guy, and I just turned and looked at him. His guy's here, and I'm just staring at him, and this guy's throwing punches, and I'm dodging the punches. And he was like getting uncomfortable, like trying to coach his fighter, but then looking at me, looking at him, and he was just.
Wow.
And I loved it. I love the fact I'm like, it doesn't matter what you say. Yeah, and all that energy you brought
You're
means nothing.
him.
I broke your coach. I didn't even break you. I broke your coach. Your coach didn't have nothing to give you. Do you see what I mean? And that's me. I'm present enough to be able to. And this is why when I finish my fights, I'll knock somebody. Boom! They hit the floor. I'm not going to jump on them because I'm present. I already know it's finished.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking about my celebration that I've planned already. Right. I'm like, oh yeah. But that you have to be very present, because naturally you normally have a burst of emotion.
Yes.
But if you're in control of that, you're never going to see me go, or like break down crying, not because I'm not excited, not because I'm not like, happy, sad, but just because I'm present.
Yes.
I'm feeling all of these things as I'm going along, not because I've won. There's no stress. I feel people that fight under stress have the biggest reactions on the afterwards. Because it's almost like they didn't, almost not they didn't believe in themselves, but they feel stress. They land that shot. It's like, it's a release.
Wow.
But I'm present the whole time.
Yes. It's amazing you say that, because I've been in the ring myself, and I'm real amateur, obviously, and I'm just a little bit tense. And that thing about relaxation is so important, because when you're in the ring, I'm throwing a punch and I don't even feel like it's doing nothing. It looks like I could punch a little 2-year-old, nothing would happen. It's just like everything's left you.
That tension is, I see it at the highest level. I'm talking some of the top athletes you can name. I've seen them still like this.
Wow.
And it's hard to break. It is a very difficult thing to try and get rid of, but you can. And if you do, you just unlock a completely new way of being, and which is why a lot of people, as you say, that tension you carry in, you can be as fit as a fiddle in the gym. Yeah. And the second you get there, the atmosphere just sucks it from you. Just because you're like this, you don't even realize it, but you're just like this, and it just, half your energy's disappeared now. So you're functioning on 50% of your fitness rate. This is why you have to do as much as you can in the gym, just because of that.
Yes. So, and
I usually bring that tension out of people because I'm faking people, and because I'm such a, people don't understand what's going to happen when I come. Because I'm I can throw something crazy. I can do something. I can taunt you, and all of these things build frustration and tension. Yeah. And without touching you, you've drained energy. Just because I'm fake, you're like,
they don't know what's happening.
They don't know what's going to come.
Because you're just,
and I'm just flowing,
up, down, moving sideways.
You never know what's happening.
I watch you and I'm just like, what's he going to do next? Does he even know?
So we have plans. So as much as it looks like it's almost freestyle, which is why people think it's just a natural thing, I drill the same stuff over and over and over again. I just dress it differently. So the dancing, the shoulder moves, the this, the that. Yeah. I don't do that when I train the punch. But when you add that on top, you're going to struggle to see the punch. You're going to, like I said, I'm going to add more frustration to you. Yes. But I can just drill a normal punch from boom, from there, boom, 100, boom, 1,000, boom. thousands of times. But then I'm in the ring. I know exactly how to do that.
Yeah.
And I know exactly where to do it from. So if it's at this point here, I'll do my play, moving, faking, until I land. Now I land my jab. But all of the stuff.
You're waiting for the opening.
Yeah, but all of that in between, it's just me expressing myself as well as frustrating you, which makes those punches 10 times more effective and
venomous.
More venomous.
Where does the name come? Where does that come from, bro?
Actually, so again, Marvin Francis, my older brother. When I was probably about 8 or 9, and he was always going, "Oh, Venom." I'm like, "What's that about?" He's just like, "Yeah, you just for some reason, how skinny you are," because I was very skinny. How skinny you are, and the impact that you would like. I'd hitting kids and they're flying. He's like, it just doesn't make sense. You got some extra venom in your punches. And then we started like me and him very creative. So there's a film called The 5 Deadly Venoms, old school kung fu movie, a must watch. It was like you had like centipede, toad, lizard, this, that, blah, 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 all had their own different like thing. And so we started making each like animal had their own move associated with it. And so then I just became Venom, encompassed that. And even down to when you used to go to competitions and register your name, I used to put my name down as Michael Page, and then I was like, I'll put my name as Michael Venom Page, but never actually anticipated the MVP until later. I believe there's a fan online, I couldn't even tell you who it was now, but said MVP, or said like that's MVP or something, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
It's got a ring to it.
I like that. Thanks, man.
Oh, thanks for the free branding and marketing there, bro. People charge you
Yeah,
hundreds and
That's what I'm
thousands.
saying. You just gave me the drop. It was just right in front of me, but I've always just seen it as just Michael Venom Page until someone said it, and I was like, I like that.
So, Michael, the flip side to this. Now, I think I know what you're going to say, because you're such a relaxed character and you're quite in your zen and in your energy and control. But mental health hits a lot of people. And I can even tell you through my version of my business is I always just wanted to become a millionaire. Mm-hmm. And from the age of 30, I wanted to buy one property or this. I had a plan. 26, I executed it. My accountant goes, Sean, you're a millionaire. And it was like, yay. And then it was like, what's my purpose? Like, what do I do now? Like, why am I? And I can associate that with like people like Tyson Fury as well. Became world champion, and he didn't get the cheer that he deserved, and then he went the opposite way, because it was like, I fulfilled it all. And for an MMA fighter, for example, how does that affect you when the lights are on you, the crowd's on you, the papers and press and weigh-ins are on you, and then you have your fight and you win? It's like, yes, done it. And then you don't know when you're fighting again, maybe a year's time. How do you deal with that sort of side?
It's funny, like as you say, a lot of people just assume, because I am very relaxed and so on and so forth, that side is kind of easy. And as you say, after the fight, the energy kind of carries on for a little bit, because, people are still talking about it, and, you still got interviews and stuff to do. So it carries a little bit. There's a ripple effect that will last so long. And, the plan is you hope to get another fight in that time. If you don't, that's where because you're still going into the gym with no purpose now, because you don't have a fight. You're injuring yourself because you're still training hard, because we've got other teammates, and as much as it's an individual sport, I don't class it as an individual sport. I class it as a team sport. So let's say me and you are training in the gym. I've just had my fight. You might have your fight in a couple of months. So it's now my job to kind of still be in the gym, just to make sure I'm there to help you. I might be good at a certain move that you're similar to your opponent.
Right.
And there's, 30 more of you. So we're constantly making sure we're trying to still be in the gym to help each other. But so you're working hard. I'm working hard on behalf of other people. But when you're like, when's your fight coming, and purpose, it's difficult. I have crashes all the time. And when I say crashes, I mean like, I don't want to do this shit no more. this is nothing now. Like, why am I doing this? And you get irritated, you get angry, you get annoyed, frustrated. All of these kind of things get dark. It can get dark and get depressed. And it's in those moments, luckily enough, that I had those lessons without really realizing it, of perseverance when I was younger, getting my ass kicked anyway, but yet still traveling down. And then looking at myself now, if I had stopped, MVP wouldn't exist. Okay, get up and train. Like, you have to keep checking back in. It's hard. Like, I'm a very creative mind, as most people probably can tell from my fights, but so I try to input that in other aspects as well in my life. So let's say example of lockdown, literally, everyone's in the same thing, not really doing much. Cool. Instead of just sitting here crying about why lockdowns even existing, let me do something with the time. So yes, I was still training anyway, but I'm like, outside of that, it's boring. What else I'm doing? Can't fight. Cool. I love music, but I'm gonna buy some decks. Bought some decks. Gonna learn how to DJ. Now I can DJ. Just mixing and falling in love with it. Or very recently, very recently, there's a friend of mine's, it's her daughter's birthday, and I've gone down to just see them, say hello, but they did it at a roller disco. I was like, this is amazing, because I love to dance, I love movement, like I love being free, but the type of movement it is in the roller disco is it's very dance orientated as well. And I used to ice skate and blade when I was younger, but roller skating is different. The four wheels is different. I'm about to go and buy my skates on the weekend. Like, it's having to do, kind of expressing myself and leaning into other things just to keep myself, my mind going. But also recently getting more into the kind of spiritual side, meditations, talking to self, speaking to certain people, just to help with that. It's not something, I feel like it's difficult to just do by yourself. And I also understand that these things that I pick up, for me, is still a distraction. Because if something happened and I wasn't able to do it, let's say I got injured, I wasn't able to do those distractions, then I go back to the person that can bring, those demons can come back out.
Yes.
So sometimes you just need to challenge those demons directly.
I actually love all of that. What you've just said is how I got out of it. Also, because it was quite a big status here. But then I was like, look at your health. You got a bit of money, but why are you not doing other things? And I sorted my diet out, gym out. I competed on stage for men's physique, and I was like, look what I've accomplished. And sometimes we also have to take the focus off ourselves, like you say, and say, let's not be selfish. It's not all about me. There's other fighters out here who need my help right now. So you've got to find your purpose and say, I am still valid. Like, we've got to help this guy get through it now. Do you know what I mean? So
it is difficult to do, because again, as much as we don't want to call ourselves selfish, we are about self. You're living through your body. You're living through your lens. So a lot of the things that there's always, we can always say that there's people in the worst situations, and for that small moment you'll be like, yeah, fair enough, but you'll go back to being yourself. And it's hard to, because I'm not living through their lens. As much as I agree they're in a worse situation, I'll do things that I can to help those people, these people, those people, but you have to come back to self. So you have to deal with what's going on in your mental, what's going on in your head, because regardless of everything, like I said, everything is still a distraction, and you can put them and class them as purposes, but they're just distractions for the time being. You have to be able to deal with what's going on by yourself, and that's the most important thing. But it's no, I go for it even now.
you make so much sense. Even I think, why have I got a podcast? Why do I need to do this? Maybe just a distraction. Do you know what I mean? You're speaking facts. Is when we get up in the morning and then there's nothing to do and things are coming in, you feel, I don't know, I feel useless. Even if I have provided for the family and everything, it's like, what do I do with my day? I went gym for 2 hours. What else do I do? You're in that position. So it's like, hey, let me fill it up with something else. And
I always say people struggle to spend time with themselves, just by themselves, because that is when your demons are the loudest and people are scared to look in the mirror. And for me, we as the humans, human race do not self-reflect enough. And the reason we don't is because we don't like what we look at for a lot of the times. But if we can spend time in that space and be comfortable in that space, then everything else is beautiful.
Yes, absolutely, 100. Michael, how do you deal with losses? So I was looking at one of your videos last night, and I know you avenged your first loss. He caught you on the ankle and then pounced on top of you. Was you frustrated with yourself, or how did you? What was going through your mind?
No, not really. It's weird. So I always say to give yourself however long you need, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It shouldn't be more than an hour. To be annoyed at a result, then finish. It's over. So give yourself that time. As you say, I'm actually doing this on. Even if you say to yourself you're feeling fine, give yourself however long you need. Everyone's different. Be annoyed, be frustrated, let it out, cry, shout, whatever it is. Then it's done. That you have that time. Then you put it to one side. Now, what do I do to rectify this? And then you pursue it. Losing for me was never really gonna be an issue, because as I said, I spent 7 years getting my ass kicked,
Right.
and then having to get back up and go.
But don't you think this shiny resume on the world platform wins, and then somebody blemishes it? It doesn't.
Yeah, you know,
like
it's
that.
weird, because I feel like the reason why I can be so relaxed is because all of those things mean more to other people than it does to me.
Right.
I don't take it on in the same way as other people do.
Yes.
So they're like, oh man, but you've lost. It's like, I know, it's fine. Like I said, you might not have passed your driver lessons the first time, but I still got my drive. No one's always say like this. If I'm true to myself, people are still gonna remember who I am. Yeah. I could lose 5-6 times, end up with the belt. Who cares?
Yeah.
No one cares. No one's even gonna remember the people that beat you.
Yeah.
Because you're that guy now. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So no one's gonna remember. So we need to, apologies. But so we need to focus on those attributes and not the pressures. All of that, alleviate that. Because I've had people come to me, oh man, did you know you're gonna be the first person on Viacom? Because Viacom's just bought out Bellator at the time. You're gonna be the first person, the first fight they show on Viacom. How's that feel? Yeah, but that's, you try to put pressure on me.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds great to me.
Yeah.
Done. HBO just partnered with Bellator. You're going to be the first person that's going to be on the HBO. How's that feel? Fine. That's your
fight.
pressure.
It's a fight. A fight anyway.
It's a fight. You know what I mean? If I was fighting by myself in my bedroom, just nobody viewing with my opponent, I still enjoy it. That's because that's to do with me. I don't care about there's no additional pressures. That's how it should feel every single time. Or like I'm just in the gym, just me and my opponent, no one's watching, we're fighting. It's the same. I just go to here and I can just feel other people's energies, but no pressure. Those energies lift me. I don't go, oh man, I'm the first one. Oh man, if I don't win this fight, I'm not gonna get paid the extra this. Or if I don't do this, I might not get a bonus. That's pressure. Now you're trying to fight. And everything feels heavy. Yeah. That is irrelevant. You can tell me that even someone telling me like, oh, if you get a knockout in this fight, you're going to be the highest, you're going to get the highest KOs in Bellator history. It sounds great. Like, if that happens, great. Like, applaud me afterwards. But you telling me now is just people trying to put pressure, not intentionally all the time. They're just stating facts.
Yes.
But for other people, they'll be like, oh yeah, for real. Now I have to really try to go for a knockout. And then didn't happen. Now you're even more depressed.
Yeah.
Just no. Everything, nobody puts pressure on me. They can't. It's impossible. Because I just won't let it. You can give me as many titles and statements as you want, and then I'll just go, sounds good, put it to one side, and just continue doing what I want to do.
Looks like you're very in control of yourself and very stay rooted and present, stillness.
Try to. I try to do as much as I can with exactly that. And I think, well, we're human. It's not always going to be, I'm no monk. So it's not always going to be the case. I have so many frustrated moments. Even this week, so many frustrated moments, stressed out, annoyed. And sometimes you lash out on normally your closest ones.
Yeah.
But then I'm also the person that I apologize.
Yeah.
my bad.
Takes a big man to do that as well.
That's based on, if I didn't self-reflect and be like, yeah, you was in the wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they're just like, pride, the egos, this, that, and all that kind of stuff. But that's because you haven't looked at yourself. You got annoyed at something, and it hurts to now trying to address that. Try to address it and say, those fake apologies. I'm sorry that you felt bad that I. No, bro, you shouted like you did. You know what I mean? Or you saw at someone. Cool. Take a step back, look at yourself, analyze it. Like, bro, yeah, that was me, man.
Do you know what? It's such a good role model, bro. Like for you at your state and height, and you're telling us that's definitely influencing, a lot of people listening to that saying, well, if MVP saying that, then do you know what? It ain't that bad, is it?
Yeah, it's important. Like, the thing is, even I'm talking, like, I don't have egos going on nights out. There's it's funny. There was a fight that kicked off when this is a few years ago. Fight kicked off, and this guy's going crazy, and I just try to calm down. Bro, chill out. And he just boom pushed me.
Oh.
And I come back and I'm like, bro, relax. And then he's yeah, kind of calmed down. He was talking to his friend, and then he's walked back over and he's gone, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize who you was. I was like, bro, I can see you was angry, you was heated. He's like, no, but you would have killed me. And I was like, yeah, but what does that prove? What would that never, you knew it. That wouldn't have proved anything.
Yes.
So, but I didn't need to have my ego in that situation. I chose to even put myself in there.
Yes.
And I've got a weird hero complex. So like, I'm just like, and I hate when that's unnecessary stuff is happening. So I was like to try and calm people down. And yeah, it's like, it doesn't prove anything to me. I said, unless you're paying me a lot of money, then I'm not gonna hit you. But, you know what I mean?
You ain't gonna take that away from me.
Yeah, you're not gonna. But there's no need. Like I said, I don't need to. I'll be in a room and people won't necessarily see me in that room because I'm not walking around like I'm the big I am.
Yeah.
There's no need.
No need.
Like, you'll see me when I'm in my element. You'll see me when I'm under those lights because I form into a different character. I'm a beast in that mode. I am the biggest person in the room. But outside of that, it's like, okay, cool, I leave that there.
Yeah.
You have to understand the separation. Okay, that's MVP, bro. I have to chill. There's Michael.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I hear you. Will I ever see you in a boxing ring?
Yeah, so I boxed twice before.
Yeah.
Bellator allowed me to have a couple of fights, which is, good of them because a lot of promotions don't like to do that kind of stuff. They allowed me to box, but then weirdly enough, the boxing side were kind of against me doing it unless I said I was saying bye to MMA.
Wow.
At the time, yeah, it was annoying, is what it is. I'm like, cool, that's not gonna happen. I've come back over doing my MMA, and now everybody's doing boxing, and I'm getting calls. Can you come back? We'd love to have you back.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, cool. I definitely will. At some point, jump back in a boxing ring.
Okay. What weight division would you be fighting in?
Super middle. I can, to be fair, because of the amount of weight that MMA fighters cut, there's quite a few weights that I can do.
Yes.
But my weight in terms of when I've cut for MMA it would position me at super middleweight.
Okay. What do you think of these celebrity fights that are happening? So you've got Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz at the moment. What do you think of things like this? Does it diminish the sport, or does it give it more publicity? Is it a good thing?
It doesn't. I feel like people need to understand this in its own lane. I think when it first kind of kicked off, I was annoyed by it, and then I sit down and I'm like, you know what? Again, you have to analyze things. And I sit down and like, kind of makes sense. Also, they're bringing their own crowd. You're not harming the people that are watching boxing or watching MMA, because if they agreed with myself at that moment that you guys aren't serious, they wouldn't watch you. So it hasn't done anything. There's no harm to me. And it just so happens they have a massive fan base that they just are able to bring anywhere with them, from the YouTubes and the TikToks and so on and so forth. And in all honesty, their fans are way more dedicated and way more supportive than fans I've seen in boxing and fans that I've seen in MMA. And the reason I say that is, the first fight in an MMA, couple people around, dotted around, people slowly coming in and da-da-da-da. Last fight, obviously, the main event, everyone's there. First fight in, the social media boxing, packed.
Boom.
first fight.
There you go.
These guys are die-hard fans, and those are the kind of fans that I want.
You might as well come an influencer, bro.
I'm telling you, man, those are the kind of guys that I want. But obviously, I get to work with the likes of KSI and so on and so forth and seeing their world.
100.
And for me, if I respect anybody that takes my sport seriously, and he does, because he trains. He's not like he's coming in using his status and then like little videotape of him punching a bag, and then he just like don't see him again until the fight. He puts in work.
Yes.
When I'm there, he's there. Training, busting his ass, and it's my same coach putting him through it. Yeah, and he's there. I can see. I walk in and he's just like he doesn't want to be doing it. Yeah, and yet he still does it. I respect anybody that does that. I don't care what background you come from. Yes, I respect you, and if all of them are doing that, much respect to all of them.
Good lesson. Get on the floor, get back up.
That's it.
There you go. Keep doing that. Who are you fighting next?
So I don't have any opponent at the moment. Just waiting for. So, soon to be number 1 ranked. The title holder is fighting, has a fight lined up. So I'm just waiting to see the winner, essentially. Okay. So right now I'm in the wings, putting in work, training, paying attention to what that fight, and then I'll be ready to go.
Amazing. Well, I'm mindful of time, but we've got some quick knockout questions. Cool, so just quick, sort of fiery within 1 minute. Who's your favorite boxer?
Lomachenko. Of all time or now?
Go on, all time.
All time, Emmanuel Augustus. The likes of Emmanuel Augustus, Sweet Pea, or Muhammad Ali. Okay. But currently, I'm a massive fan of Lomachenko.
Why?
His style, his movement. It's just, for me, I love watching art in combat, because it's very hard to see when you get powerhouses and stuff, it's very distinct. It's a very obvious trait, like like your Wilders and stuff, a very obvious trait. But when you see someone that can it's almost like watching ice skating in combat. For me, that's so difficult to do. Yes, I love watching beautiful fighting.
Who's your favorite heavyweight fighter right now?
Fury.
Yes. Your favorite MMA fighter?
It's, again, MMA is a difficult one. It's hard to have favorites, not because they're not amazing fighters. It's just because I'm a fan of so many of them. I like so many different reasons. So I'd say of all time, I think I'll mention the person that first got me into MMA, not got me into, as in like the first person I watched when I did get into MMA, which was Chuck Liddell. Okay. So he's for me, I just understood him as much. He wasn't the most graceful, but I understood that because I didn't get the jiu-jitsu, I didn't get the wrestling, because I came from a kickboxing background, and what he did was just stand and just go to war with people.
Have you ever seen Tyson Fury like train or inspiring or anything?
No, I actually haven't had the privilege of watching him train, but we've always crossed paths, met his dad, uncle, so on and so forth. It was cross path.
Man's just a giant.
Oh, he's just a massive human.
He's built for what he does.
He's a massive human
fights like
being.
A lightweight.
That's why I like him, because very few heavyweights can move like that.
What's your biggest accomplishment?
Biggest accomplishment. Biggest accomplishment. So I'd say it's hard because it's like all my accomplishments, there's a team involved. But I'd say just staying true to who I am, regardless of the new people that I seem to be attracting and surrounding myself with, and status my status keep going up. I think my accomplishment is just being myself.
Amazing answer. Thank you for that one. How do you maintain your physical fitness and conditioning throughout the whole year?
As gonna go back to not training with the purpose of self and teammates, kind of helps me go back to the gym even when I'm not doing anything.
Okay. And what is your training regime like when you're getting prepared for a fight? Man, this is when I hate my coach. I hate my coach most of the time, as much as I love him. Because it's all day, every day, and good times, bad times. What I mean is I could be injured. I could injure my arm,
He's like, fine, we'll work on your left arm and you'll use your legs. I injured my leg. He said, fine, we'll work on the other leg and you'll use both your arms. And he's dead serious about it. Like, I'll come in, sit down. I've been on the ski machine seated because my leg was injured, and it was a hell of a workout.
Yes.
Like he's like, there's no excuse. Yeah, you bed bound. I'll work your eyebrows. Like, there'll always be a reason. And having somebody that where you're not in control of it almost, because he's a coach that I respect so highly that regardless of my feelings, it helps having somebody like, get up, I need to see you. Having somebody like him around. That's why always having mentors or surround yourself with people that can push you. I think a lot of people at the top, you start to see them, they start surrounding themselves with yes men. It means they're in control of their own destiny. That's the worst way to have it.
Wow. Who's been your toughest opponent?
Toughest opponent? Oh, definitely Douglas Lima, the guy that I lost to. I think toughest opponent was him. I think just because he's just a very powerful human. Really? Very, very powerful human. And then obviously, once you've felt that, on top of losing, then having to go back in, mentally you have to be strong enough to think, otherwise the same thing would have happened. But
are you going to rematch that?
Well, I've already rematched him once, and obviously I got the win. But I'd happily do that one again. I think he's actually moved up a division. And another, I'd say Douglas Team was definitely the toughest one.
How do you enjoy? What do you do to enjoy outside of martial arts?
As in enjoy life in general?
Yeah, just enjoy life when you're not.
Like I said, it's all the extracurricular, man. Like skating at the moment. I'm going skating. I used to do salsa. I did salsa for about 6 years actually. So the salsa, literally, I'm talking lessons. Like I was going to lessons and then going to clubs afterwards and like salsa
swinging them hips, yeah.
I was swinging it. I had liquid in my hips.
Come on.
DJing or recent. I just like to pick up like different things, but for me, most important, family, and I class family as friends as well. There's certain friends that I class as family, but family time, I love to laugh, love to crack jokes, love to eat food. Brilliant. Like everything that is family oriented. Nice. I love all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, for me, the key thing is just family time.
Too many people disrespect their parents, especially when they get to a certain level.
I couldn't.
It's just like
my mum still whooped my ass now.
Same. I'm still like, yes, dad.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, man.
Like this. Yeah. How do you keep that? Like, number one, you're strong. You've got the power, and some people actually abuse that and going, yeah, you can't tell me no more. I'm gonna do this. I'm this. I know more. How dare they sort of disrespect their parent? But what advice would you give to somebody?
It's hard when you're already in that kind of mindset to tell you otherwise, because if your mother couldn't tell you otherwise, or your father couldn't tell you otherwise,
who's anybody else?
Who's anybody else? But at the same time, sometimes people hold celebrities higher. So people like myself may be able to come and be like, what is that about? But if they don't know any differently, sometimes it does just take a second person to be like, bro, that's not cool. I don't know who you're trying to impress, but it's not cool. For me, I don't have to agree with my mum. And we had disagreements, but it's never a shouting thing because I'm shook because she'll kick me in the mouth. But I mean, like, I can be like, no, mum, like, no, I do it this way because of this and that. I'm choosing to do this. If I come back, like, mum, you was right about that one, but still. And we're okay. Like I said, I'm okay to still be wrong. So it's okay to do something against somebody else, be wrong, and as long as you can come back and be like, no, you was right about that. So I'm sorry. So I think just a respect on a level. If you can't respect your thing, you're not respecting anybody. And then also don't expect people to respect you. You can't feel like, oh yeah, mom, whatever, man, dad, whatever, and think you're gonna get respect. Doesn't work. The only way you can try and get respect is through fear. It doesn't last long, because I might be scared of you now. I might not be scared of you later. So that's not the best way of keeping respect, shall I say. Best way of keeping respect is just being respectful.
100. I've heard that saying, what goes around comes around.
100%.
It'll bite you back at the bottom.
My mum is a spin kick.
Come on. Michael, how do you stay hungry and motivated after all of the achievements in karate, kickboxing, in the boxing ring, MMA at the top? How do you keep that hunger in there?
You know what? When you surround yourselves with hungry people, you kind of go with what's happening in the room. Your energy gets shifted. I'm surrounded by some young, up and coming, hungry guys, and they are dying to scalp me. And they're my teammates.
Wow.
They are dying to scalp me. So, and this is why I've always said, the only time I would even stop fighting is if one of these guys in the gym can have me out. And until that day, you'll still see
I'm
me.
there.
I'm there.
When are you fighting till, do you think?
But that's the thing is, I'm not going to put a number on it, because again, I feel like when you picture something, you almost, project it into existence. You manifest it. So if I said to myself, okay, yeah, I've got one more year, this year will deteriorate. Because I've already told my body, okay, I'm going to be slowing down. So your body was like, all right, cool.
Yes.
Start to slowly switch off. I'll keep going until somebody stops me. And if you don't stop me, and it's not about the fight, it's about the journey to the fight. The hardest part about our job is making it to the fight. The training camp. If I can't make it through a training camp properly, I'm out.
Yes.
I'm done.
So many sportsmen, Mike Tyson squandered 300 million.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, like that sort of money, and he reached that amount of wealth. That was quite some time ago. He's rebuilt himself. But is there, like you've got a coach, a cuts man, a striking coach, do you have access to like a financial advisor in your sort of, arena, in terms of, right, we know you're going to fight, this is how you're going to do this, we know you're going to also come into money, and this is how to manage it? Because so many sports people earn a lot of money and blow it so quickly. Some of them blow it on drugs and women, and gambling is a massive one. Do you have that sort of support on when you know how to make investments and stuff?
So it was the last 2 years of my life where I'm like, this ain't working. It really isn't working. I'd make dumb financial decisions and and so on. I've done stupid stuff. Never through gambling and stuff. I'm fortunate to just be terrible at gambling. So I'm just like, there's no point being in that. So all that kind of stuff, no, but just bad at money management. So it's funny when you spoke at the beginning, and you're saying when you was around the table and your dad's a businessman. I wish I had that, because unfortunately one of my dad's traits, as much as he was an exceptional coach, one of his traits was he wasn't good with money, and I seem to absorb that as well. But like I said, I've been fortunate to be able to lose a lot of money and still be okay.
What's been the biggest purchase outside?
Financial advisor.
Okay.
This is legit. I literally got a financial advisor who has sorted us through all my stuff. We're still going through like little bits now, nothing crazy to be fair. But sorting through everything, because it was all wrong. Everything I was doing was wrong. It's all wrong. And now also, because of listening to him and understanding, I've now just kind of grown interested in finance in general. And just like I'm looking up stuff myself, and I'm like, yo, can I do this? And he's like, where did you hear that from? Like, because I'm just now interested and fascinated with it. I've now started a company with my family, so we can actually invest together properly, which is what I feel a lot of people don't do. I've been fortunate to be close to my siblings. I know a lot of people have unnecessary arguments and headaches, and sometimes it is to do with money, and sometimes it's to do other family members coming in, like new partners and stuff.
Absolutely.
Everyone's got different reasons.
Been through it all.
Yeah, everyone's got different reasons, but I'm fortunate, fingers crossed, that has never happened to me and my sibling. We're all so close, and there's 7 of us, so, and we're all like that. It's ridiculous.
Amazing.
And we've now set up a family more for the next generation as well. Set up a company, but doing it properly. We're actually getting the right management, the right advice. I mean, instead of giving my nieces and nephews, presents here, that I'm just putting money into their account.
Yes.
Their account. That's building that thing. So when they're older and it means something, because I'm like, look, each person, each parent in their household will look after the child. I have no fingers. So why am I giving them a card for no wasting £2.50 and giving them a present wasting £50 just to impress them for that moment?
Yes.
My time is gift for them. I play with them. That's me. That's Uncle Michael. When Uncle Mike comes, we're having fun. I don't have to give you anything to have fun.
Yes,
we just have fun.
Love it.
You know, we could just watch it. Like my uncle. I went to see my nephews the other day. You know, they're telling me about their Pokemon cards. So did they get Pokemon cards? Oh yeah, that's amazing stuff. And yeah, that's that time spent. Even all and now they're just like, oh man, when's Uncle Michael coming back? I don't have to give them anything.
Oh wow.
Other than powerful. Just that. But in the background, when it's gonna mean something, when they need to go to a university or when they need to buy a new first car, when they're gonna have money and finance there. And then on top of that, later on, because they're building a company together as a family, they'll have options to regard you. Go out to the world. I want you to experience as much as you can. Mm-hmm. Just remember, you've got a foundation here. So if anything goes wrong, we're here. We got you. But this is all stuff I wish I had learned a lot sooner. Yes. It is what it is, though. I never like to dwell on it too much. I'm here now.
That's it.
I'm learning now. We're developing it now. We're 100. Making these things happen. And I'm happy.
Things will compound, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
The hardest thing is having a cash flow, and you've got that coming
exactly.
in. So when that's coming in, you can put it into assets and create the passive income for later.
Yeah,
so you've got something drip feeding you, know, and that's what we need to get into.
Little stuff like life insurances and this and that. Even sorting out my will. I didn't care to do things like that because it wasn't something that was talked about in our family.
Of course.
Martial arts was.
Yes.
But it wasn't the financial side. Now I'm learning all about stuff now, and it's just, for me, it's just like the best thing I can even pass on to the next generation of like my nieces and nephews is that understanding.
100. Well, make sure they're following the Sean Land page, bro.
Definitely, man.
We always give them little hints, tips, and mentorship, because that's what it's all about.
I said to you, that's what I said. If I want to speak to you, obviously I'm not gonna have the time today, but we're gonna get 100. to sit down and stuff. But you know, I see people and like, you're amazing on what you're doing. Let's share knowledge, man.
Man, I got 3 generations of knowledge. So it's just normal. It's like you teaching me how to kick properly. It's just you. It's in your sleep. And to me, it's like, well, just do that.
Yeah.
And even like I've taken a year out of not buying anything just to get the tax structures right, and that was 10 years ago. It's like holding companies, subsidiary companies.
Amazing.
Okay, SASs. Okay, this is our family fund. You can pass money on to the next generation without paying tax. School fees can go out of that. You know, like there's so many things we can.
And that's what I want.
You know, and this is what we sort of need to be a bit more clued about.
100%.
And another thing that you said, like somebody put it in this terms, is when you see something in your house and it's a machine and it's printing, like, for example, 100,000 every single year, would you insure that machine? Well, yeah, of course I would. So if you're that person bringing that money home, why are you not insuring yourself? What happens when you break?
Very true.
You know what I mean? It's just these simple terms that you think are wasting money, but no, nobody wants to use it
at all.
It's a just in case.
Yeah.
You know, so them sort of things. Michael, do you wish I asked you any question today that I missed out?
No. I've enjoyed it, man. I've enjoyed it. I really enjoyed sharing just sharing who I am. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Look, I don't think this is the last time we're going to do a pod together. This is a very quick one, but there's so much more I wanted to find out about your younger days and stuff. But we'll have to do a part 2 at some stage. Yeah, definitely. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming down. You've shown a lot of love. If you just look straight into the camera and just let everybody know how they follow you. Man, great time. Sean Land podcast. Just come on. That's don't know. Get to know. These are for you, by the way. I bought these presents for you, look actually. Look at that. Probably even in the sweaty gym or something. To be honest, I love stuff like this, to be fair. But no. It's been a great time. Thank you for having me, man. Yeah. Much appreciated. And your handle, how can people follow you? Yes, Michael Venom Page on most things, to be fair. So just Michael Venom Page, YouTube, Instagram, this, that, whatever else is out there. Just follow me. For me, the support does mean a lot. So even if it's a case of, if you get a chance to, whenever I'm fighting in the UK, buy a ticket and come down and enjoy it. Because I put in work to put on a display. It's not, for me, it's not just the fight. It's the whole experience. MVP comes as an experience, not just a back and forth punching and kicking. So when you can, come watch. There you go, guys. Look, this is the hottest channel. The guests are getting better and better. I show you your network is your net worth. And these are the people you want to be in the rooms with. So if you're on a council estate or you're somewhere where you say, I ain't got the right people, join us in this room. Listen to these conversations because these are the mentors that you want to be around. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Don't forget to smash the like button. Leave us a comment. Share this with some friends, family. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Yeah.
Bruh. That was good, man.
Man, wicked,
Thank
man,
you, bro.
wicked.